She also
And
knew
it is.
something. Yeah, good afternoon. Hello. Yeah, shall we start? Yeah, hello. Yes, no, sir, it's audible. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, Jonathan ji, can we start the program?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for joining. Yeah. So, good afternoon, everyone. And once again, I thank everyone for joining this session. And this is the last of the webinar series that we are doing as a part of promoting the BIRAC BIG scheme, that is a Biotechnology Ignition Grant Scheme. And this will be the last one, but of course, we'll be having some more interactive sessions with those who have applied for this program. And this webinar series, I'm very happy to say that we have two eminent speakers today. Mr. Jonathan Filroy from ICRISAT and Dr. Paggi Reddy from Agri Biotech Foundation at Hyderabad. So these two are major organization which is supporting agriculture incubation at Hyderabad. They are doing, more specific like food and agriculture startup, wet lab facilities, and they are doing incubation services also. So I'm very happy that they have joined here and they'll be delivering on topics related to technology development and technology support to incubators. So before that, I would like to share about idea for the people who have joined for the first time. I'm Dr. Shivaraman. I'm CEO of idea, and I'm joined with Dr. Gaurav, also who is the project manager who is responsible for conducting this BIRAC big scheme from idea. So we are the first incubator which has provided the support to specifically to agri startups. And agri, it includes all agriculture and allied disciplines such as veterinary sciences, fishery sciences, forestry, and also food technology. For post-harvest technology processing also included in that. And we have one more focus area, that is agriculture engineering and also the agri-tech services. The agri-tech that includes IoT, ICT, and advanced technologies like implementations of AI and ML. And this incubator started way back in 2014. And during these 7 years, we have stellar achievements through incubating the top agribusiness startups in the country. So we have in our line Agnest, you might have heard that, Agnest, Interlo Labs, and um, Udan. So I mean Urban Kisan. So they all joined through our Agri Udan programs, and now they are one of the top 50 agri startups in the country. So I'm very happy to share that presently we are incubating closer to 100 plus companies who are in different stages. That includes from ideation, early startup, and also at the scaling up stage. We have all services now. We are supporting closer to 100 plus, and one of the major advantages of joining AIDEA, so you get access straight away to 108 plus. Laboratories, world-class laboratories that is available in Indian Council of Agriculture Research (ICR) systems. So that is one of the advantage of going through AIDEA. And the second one, we have strong collaboration networking with more than 750 plus Krishi Vigyan Kendras. So the Krishi Vigyan Kendras are operating at district level. So almost one Krishi Vigyan Kendra is there in each district, and we have strong collaboration with them. If any incubator want to go to the farm level and test their products, we are providing those services through the Krishi Vigyan Kendras. And additional to that, we have strong, support from state agriculture universities, through which we have several programs, that includes capacity building for incubators, and we are also have access to their laboratories. And in our system, we have a tie-up with closer to 6,000 plus scientists who are available for mentorship and also for helping on technology related things. So these are the major advantages that AIDA has, when any agri startups want to come for incubation. So ours is a specialized incubator focusing only on food and agri startups. And see, the major programs that we are conducting here is one is sensitization program. We are sensitizing students, faculty, scientists, and all the value chain players in the incubation services. We are sensitizing them about the latest development in the incubation process and also ownership. And the second focus area is incubation. So we are identifying potential good startups in the very early stage. Yeah, can you mute the person? Yeah. Yes. So we can support those incubators. We have scheme presently it's going on. One is Krishi Boot, where in which we select the incubators and they undergo training and support from our side for about 12 to 18 months. And we have one flagship program, Agri Udan, which we launched in during May 2021. That is the fourth of the series, annual series that we have. And last three series, it has been a big success with top companies having joined our acceleration program. And this time we have just selected and we are going to start the process of acceleration. And after this, we would like to share that we have some programs like BIRAC supported BIG and Bionist. So where we have tie up with the Agri Biotech Foundation at Hyderabad to provide wet lab facilities. Apart from that, we have access to other wet lab facilities that is available with the ICR State Agriculture Universities. And also we run some programs where we are giving seed support to the startups from our funds, that is with the idea. And also we have some grant funds that is available from different sponsors, which we are using at a seed fund and we are investing as the form of equity mostly. So these are the major activities, and so far in BIRAC Big, and this year we have got closer to 100 applications. So these are some of the things that I would like to share. So when incubators join, yeah. So if any incubators want to apply for BIRAC Big through AIDEA, so my only request is that before applying, let us know about it, so that whatever pre-application mentoring is required, we will provide. So that will be good, for you to increase the chance of getting selected for the funds. So thank you very much for giving the opportunity, and I will also welcome both the speakers After the speakers complete their presentation, so we will have a brief presentation on what is BIRAC scheme and how to apply and what are the advantages of getting that scheme. That will be presented by my colleague, Dr. Gaurav, and subsequently at the end, we will take up the questions. So if you want to put the questions, you can wait till the end, or else in the meantime, you can put it in the chat box. All the questions will be taken up at the end. Thank you very much, and over to Akila.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable information. Good afternoon, one and all present here. Myself, Akila. I would like to extend my warm welcome to the guest speakers, incubators, applicants of BIRAC Big, mentors, scientists, and academicians, ladies and gentlemen, to today's session on identifying right startup incubators for technology and market connect. Today's program objectives are to identify right startup incubators for technology and market connect, to know the BIRAC Big application process, and to hear about queries. Today we are pleased to welcome Mr. Jonathan Filroy sir, who has done his bachelor's degree in agriculture and MBA from Institute of Rural Management. He headed the North Kerala operations of GCMMF Limited. Now he was manager at Agribusiness and Innovation Platform. And today he will be sharing with us his expert opinion on technological support to incubation. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, Mr.
Okay,
Jonathan.
yeah, now it's unmuted. Yeah, sorry, it was not allowing me earlier. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Shivram sir, for having me, and it's a pleasure to be a part of your program. It was great to hear all your initiatives and the great work that AIDA has done over the last 7 years since we started off, and it's been fantastic. It's been great to hear the great work done by the incubation team as well as by the startups as well. I'm going to talk about what we do at ICRISAT as well as just an overview about the sector, the way it is going for all the audience here who are planning to apply for the BIG 19, the call that has just opened up. And if I may, I'll be allowed to share the screen. Yeah. I hope you can see the screen.
Yes, we could see this.
Yeah. Okay. So I work with an organization called ICRISAT, which is the International Crop Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics. We are a 49-year-old research organization based out of Hyderabad, headquartered here with operations in Africa, primarily working on dryland tropics. So we are talking about crops like millets and pulses. And we focused on setting up an incubation center back in 2003, which eventually was India's first agri-sector focused incubation center, way before we started using the words startup and agtech and all that. This was more towards focus on, can we focus on, say, technology transfer? Can we use this platform that we eventually developed into a technology platform so that we could share the technology that we were developing at ICRISAT or through our partners at the National Agricultural Research System, the NAS, to and give it to the farming community? Or could we promote farmers themselves as entrepreneurs? Was there an opportunity to look at rural entrepreneurship initiatives? So we started back in 2003. We have had our own considerable success as well as failures, part of the game. We have been able to work with a lot of startups, understand their requirements, and customize our service portfolio, etc., based on their need. So in our case, we don't have a cohort thing. We focus more on a case-to-case individual startups, one-on-one basis, and then work with them closely in terms of their journey, right from idea all the way to, say, growth stage. And that's the kind of overview that I wanted to give about what we do at ICRISAT. And the in terms of the trends that are there, sorry. Yeah. So in terms of what is happening around, I mean, as you are all applying for, and assuming that we are all applying about for the BIG application, as well as we're talking about agri sector per se. agri as well as food. When I say agri food tech domain, so I would just like to give you an overview that what is happening within the sector is unprecedented within the last what has happened in the last say 2 years, and the way the pace has picked up much faster than what we see, what we have seen say till 2018. We have seen aggregation happening through FPOs, the FPO initiatives taking on a big way, more mobile applications and mobile penetration happening in the rural areas. There's a greater digitization activity happening. There's a lot of these precision agriculture applications which are coming through. Farmers are actively looking for drones and robotic applications and more, say, less labor required devices to save on costs, etc. There is a lot of this farm to market and F2B, B2B, D2C, whichever acronym you want to pick up. These are all coming up because of the COVID. Maybe one of the only positive things that they would talk about COVID, but things have changed in that sense, and the recent farm laws, etc., as well as more penetration into the tier 2, 3 locations that are coming up. Another area that has popped up and which might be relevant to the BIG current call has been the progress that has been seen in the primary agri as well as secondary agriculture. So in BIRAC, we use the word secondary agriculture, and that's also seen a lot of improvement in and requirement in terms of the food processing domain, changing dietary patterns. We're talking now of alternate proteins, plant-based meat, etc., etc. So the domain is opening up for Indian startups or Indian agribusiness or food tech ventures to actually get into these domains, which we have seen in the other countries, US, etc. We're talking about nitrogen fixation and soil carbon capture and all that. Climate change is a bigger change which is happening. So there are a lot of opportunities which have popped up there, and there's a interest in investors as well as innovation happening in that space, which was not, the pace was not there, but we are slowly seeing that pace coming up. We are seeing more startups reaching out to all the incubators. We have had, I think, 4 or 5 applications which are focusing on the food, the alternate protein side, right now under evaluation at our side. So there's a growing interest in that space. And these are not talking, we're not talking about westernized food. We're talking about Indian, Indianized or Indian food products or Indian crops which are available within the country here and then being used for developing such products as well. Just to give you an overview of what is happening, in terms of investments and all that, this is from the recent ThinkAg report, and we're seeing these many number of startups, 1,017 startups operational in the country, and in 2020, about 42 startups raised for investments, which was slightly lower than what happened in 2019. But if you notice the kind of investments which are happening, it's more on the downstream agtech side, which is more around the domain of, say, consolidation, aggregation, that space. And where we want to see things will change would be in terms of the in other domains. Agri infratech is going to move up. We're going to see more upstream investments coming up. Agri biotech, now that's an area where we haven't seen much of a change. Not much of investments happening due to various reasons. I wouldn't go into the regulations side because that's another touchy area. That's a topic by itself that needs to be figured out how to do that. But then that's an area where we haven't been able to actually match what is happening out, in other countries, and that I think is an area that is getting primed up for investments, and it will happen soon. For people who are planning to start a business venture, I would like to ask you to just keep this value chain in mind. Most of the time, we just develop a product and think that there's a solution, and that's a solution that somebody wants, but that's not the case. We want you to actually look at the value chain and figure out where you fit in with your product, or your solution, or your business model, where does it fit in with the whole value chain concept. So right from the upstream side, where we're talking about this agribiotech is more towards the bio input side and things around that side. But then there are opportunities downstream around the consumption side. We're talking about food products or secondary products, metabolites, protein metabolites, and other things that can come up there. So these are the current players in the market, or the current segments that are there in the market in terms of startups that are there. I mentioned about 1,000 odd ventures which are there. If you classify them, they fall into these domains, but then the other domains are also opening up. And so when you develop a product or a solution, or you're developing a proof of concept through the BIG funding, just think about where does it fit in in the value chain. Now, this most of us know. Just to reiterate, where do we come in? I know Shivram sir talked about incubation. There are close to about 120 odd incubators working in the agri space itself. But what is our role here? So, most of the startups that when start off, they eventually fail without making any kind of break-even support. They fail during the in that valley of death, as we call it. There's without any kind of market validation. So we might say that somebody has raised money or some funding has happened, so let's go for that. That's a kind of trend that we want to avoid with youngsters or startups, when entrepreneurs or founders who come to us and talk about, I also want to do this. There's a craze for mobile apps everywhere. There was one startup founder who showed me his mobile phone actually, which had about 160 odd agri apps. Now, how many apps do you want to actually figure out to share information or whatever? How is it going to target your customers? How are you going to generate revenue from developing yet another app? So that kind of lack of market validation, the lack of a team, the lack of a cultural understanding, the lack of planning, etc. I've seen that most of the startups would be here in terms of their value of that, more in terms of ideation or developing some products, but then they don't know what is the next step to happen, and then they kind of lose interest, or they don't make money, and then they have to shut down the operations, which have happened. And then a COVID might come up and then wipe out the entire thing. So that's where you need an ecosystem to support you in that journey. And one of the players in that ecosystem is a business incubation entity, which is more towards helping you survive and grow, in your early stage. Right now, if you take BIG call, it's a proof of concept, supporting you with, here is some funding to develop your proof of concept. That's fine. That's funding for you. But then how do you go and validate the whole process? That's where incubation comes in. And incubation as a domain, as an industry, has evolved over time. 1950s, when the word started coming up, the incubation as a word, it was more towards a leasing of space. It was more of a landlord kind of, giving a space. Co-working spaces nowadays, what we have seen. What has happened over a period of time is that incubation has evolved to providing more and more customized services, more sector focus, more mentoring and other areas that have opened up, more access to infrastructure, etc. So it's kind of evolved over a period of time. And in India, we have more, what is a concept called as TBIs, technology business incubators. Like we are a TBI, AIDI is a TBI, we have a TBI in IAMR. So these are technology business incubators which have been supported by the Department of Science and Technology, the government of India. And then so the idea is that it's associated with a research organization or an academic organization which can provide the knowledge backing that is required for the startup founders to actually go ahead and test the product or develop the product. So in general, what happens is that these are services which are there, business development or financing. So mentioned about VCs investments that AID has done, networking capacity building programs, or meeting mentors, meeting investors, and infrastructure. What TBIs also additionally bring in is the scientist part of it. So I mentioned about the incubation period. You grow out of this initial phase that you have, talk about the valley of death. This is that period that we're talking about, right from your idea stage all the way to the development stage. So that's where the incubators generally operate. So we're talking about 1 to 5 years cycle in your growth or your company's cycle. Generally it's about 3 years that we generally go provide the support for, but it tends to be 1 to 5 years, and especially in the agri side and the biotech side, the gestation period is longer. So we tend to give a longer period to support startups in the journey. In terms of services, and now coming to what the technological support is all about. So if I want to put it into various buckets, technology development is one, consultancy services for startups, funding and mentoring. Now, technology development itself is a big area, and that's where, in our case, as well as other agri-business incubators in the country, what we offer is a scientific support. We can connect with scientists across these research organizations across the country. Sometimes it so happens that we might need to link you, incubator might have a domain expertise. We might not have the right people to support you, but suppose you say, let's take about fisheries. You might have talked about, come up with a plan to say, make something around say chitosan, for example. Now, you might be here in Hyderabad, but you need the resources, the knowledge to develop the product. So what we do is, we connect with the other institutions, other incubation centers, which have expertise in the fisheries domain. And then we do the licensing between them and do the testing and the trial part, and Product development side happens at that side. The rest of the business development happens at the incubator, your parent incubator, so to say. The licensing of technologies, like what we have done with, say, DFRL, the Defense Food Research Laboratory, where we have taken technologies, we have validated, we have done the valuation for them, and then we have commercialized technologies for the DFRL, or even for the ICR during the National Agriculture Innovation Project period, where we commercialized about 330 technologies from these 22 business incubation centers, and then commercialize it through about 1,000 odd business ventures. Validation is another area. Now that's where the technology validation is where a case that I can talk about is in BIG itself, the BIRAC, the Biotechnology Ignition Grant. I think it was BIG 12, where we supported a startup which was based out of Pune. And they were an incubator of us, but because they were based out of Pune, they were associated with a parent incubator in Pune itself called Venture Center. So there, the funding that they got for BIG was to do the testing and development of an algorithm for disease and pest detection. And so the whole algorithm development, the science, the technical part of it was with the startup, of course, but then the whole technology, the trials, the conditions, glass houses, putting it under stress conditions, the scientists who observes the experiments, the trials, everything was done at ICRISAT side. So the incubation centers that you have here in India, in the ICR system, have the capability to provide all these services to you if you are planning to do a technology validation trial. And then the lab space and equipments, we have a bionest incubator. We also have the parent incubator. So we have about 25,000 square feet of space with top of the line equipments, LCMS, HPLC and all that, for startups which want to get into high-end, GE and other related technology applications, as well as the field testing, which happens about, we want to test it in the field. Now, there are two ways that we can do that. One is we can do it in our own campus. We have the space, or, if we're talking about other institutions, they have the space where we can actually take the land on lease as a startup and then do the trials. Or we can take you, as well as other incubators, we can take you to the network of farming FPOs that we have across India, and then do customized trials that happens there. So what happens is something similar to what happens in a multi-location kind of trial. So you have developed a hardware unit and you want to test it in the field. We could connect you with the incubators could connect you with the farming community, so that two things happen at that time. One is validation of your idea or your product. The second is getting the feedback from the farming community itself, that if I come with this particular product, are you willing to use it, and how are they using it for that? In that sense, how are they able to actually generate any kind of feedback that you can actually improve your services around that? Keeping in mind, technology is just one part of your whole business. I mean, that's not technology is not the business. That is part of your whole. It's part of another story. The technology valuation, the business and IP services, etc. Those are the consultancy part that we offer. In terms of funding, sir mentioned about the schemes. A lot of schemes are now being routed through incubation centers. So the startup might have to be associated with the incubator. That would be always welcome. That would be easy for monitoring purposes as well. But then there are a lot of schemes like BIG was one. It's about 50 lakhs. Sibri is another one which keeps up to, I think, 1 crore in grant, with a matching grant, a matching funding possibility that can be explored. These two are from BIRAC. The DST as a seed fund, the MSME as a seed fund of 15 lakhs. So various schemes which are given through the incubator and then given to the startup either as equity or grant or debt. So there are multiple options that you can actually avail. Then our own network of VCs and AI angel investors. There's a lot of interest happening within the space that's coming up. Agriculture right now is a hot sector, so to say. So you can expect more and more investment news coming in the next quarter for these startups. In terms of mentoring, a lot of these happen on the go. I mean, we have direct mentors, one-on-one mentors, or we might be having mentors which are sector specific or domain expertise, which we have. So based on the startup's requirement again. The topic was also about the kind of market connect. So what we do at our end is to actually connect with various stakeholders. Now, this is not a full set of stakeholders that we have in the agri space, but then we try to connect with all these different stakeholders. And then it's actually a bridging process. We also do the feedback mechanism where we actually pass on the information back to our host institute as well, because and our scientist community, to actually tell them, like, this is the feedback that we have got for a certain variety or a certain interaction or certain trials that are there, or undertaking, say, value chain studies, which our scientists want to undertake. So there's a lot of data that we get And we actually, when the startup comes in and we initiate discussions, we actually share this information with them as well, that like, this is the feedback that we got. How does your solution fit in, or a proposed solution or a proposed idea fit in with addressing these kind of problems? So there's a lot of stakeholders out there, and that's one way that the incubators, not just in our incubator, but all the incubators can actually help in facilitating these kind of interactions which are there. And in closing, there's actually a growing incubation network just for agri. And I'm just, on this screen that you're seeing is just the incubation network of the incubators which are associated with the ICR institutions. We're not talking about state agriculture universities, just ICR institutions alone, which is about 70 odd. And as you can see, the maximum concentration is in Hyderabad. In fact, Hyderabad, it should be 6. I think with the recent launch of Ag Hub at the state university, so we have 6 of them. And then there are other incubators which have agri as a portfolio, separate portfolio, just started off. So, the number of incubators are many. The domains that you see on the listed on the left side are part of these institutions. So suppose I want to go for fisheries, I have CIFT in Cochin, or I have CI SIBA in Chennai, or I have the Freshwater Institute in Bhubaneswar. So it's up to you to decide which domain you want, and letting the incubator management know which is your domain, and then incubators can actually facilitate that networking between centers to actually facilitate you. So what happens in incubation is you come with your idea, we do the rest of the legwork in terms of making sure that you get connected with the right set of people, the right set of resources, access to facilities, labs. So I mentioned about the KVK network, all the scientists with network that we have at ICR. The whole system is available for you to use, and that's the network that we have. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share in terms of the technology support that incubators can offer you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan ji. It was indeed a very detailed lecture containing all useful do's and don'ts for startups. So that's a good thing. I think they will keep it in mind when they are applying for funding organizations. Thank you very much. And Dr. Pakki Reddy could not join. He has some connectivity issues. He asked me to share, and he'll be talking over phone. So give me a minute to connect him. Yeah. Meanwhile, Akila, you can introduce the speaker. So I'll try to talk to. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Uh, yeah.
Thank you, sir, for giving us information regarding emerging trends, scope for agri-tech, fast facts, and business incubation and incubator. Now I would like to introduce today's speaker, Dr. G. Pakireddy. He has done his postgraduate in rural development and PhD in economics, started his career as a research associate and became professor. He has been engaged himself in research, teaching, and consultancy activities. He is specialized in interfacing science with society. He is the founder and executive director of Agri Biotech Foundation. Today he will be speaking on the topic Bionest Wet Labs. Over to you, sir.
Sir, you can speak, sir. We are putting you on the microphone.
Okay. Sure, madam, and Dr. Sivarami and other participants. Sorry,
sir, I'm presenting your PowerPoint. So you can go ahead with your lecture, sir. Yeah.
Hello.
Sir, I'm presenting your PowerPoint. You can go with the lecture. Yeah. Sir, can you hear me?
I can't hear you, but again, you can hear me, that's fine, because I see a lot of echo. I don't understand what
Okay,
you're
sir.
saying.
Okay, thank you.
Complete my brief presentation. Actually, see, the topic is, for bio enterprises, that is the topic. And I would like to say that the concept of bio incubators is of a recent phenomenon in India, and this is because of the policy of government of India, which says that there is a scope for a lot of employment generation and income generation and economic development through biotechnology. The government of India believes that biotechnology is an engine of growth in the 21st century. As such, it has initiated a number of innovative ideas for the promotion of bio enterprises in this country. And in this direction, a major initiative was the creation of Department of Biotechnology in early 80s. And later, in 2012, it created a separate entity called BIRAC, Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council. And this is a company, an agency, which has been striving hard to promote bio enterprises in this country through various schemes. One of the important schemes that BIRAC has been supporting is creation of BioNest incubators under BioNest. BioNest is bio incubator is nurturing entrepreneurship for scaling technology, which means that these incubators established with the support of BIRAC are meant for creating a platform for upcoming entrepreneurs to set up their units and to try their ideas, which are still at the very nascent stage, to try them out in these platforms, these incubators, and then from there scale up their technology and then establish this enterprise in their respective places. The whole idea is that biotechnology is a knowledge-intensive technology, but this knowledge is basically available in research institutions, academic institutions, whereas the ideas are available for entrepreneurship development in the private sector among the individuals or a group of individuals. So this bio incubator is trying to bridge these two entities, the entrepreneurs and the knowledge producers. Together, they are trying to establish entities that would make use of bio technology. So, in this regard, the BIRAC has already established more than 60 BioNest incubators all over the country. And most of these incubators are now located in the western and southern part of India, primarily in Gujarat, Maharashtra, Telangana, and Tamil Nadu, and also Karnataka. Within Telangana, there are at least 10 to 12 incubators, and out of these 10 to 12 incubators, most of them are working in biopharma or they are working in nanotechnology, but there are very, very few companies. As a matter of fact, in the entire country, there are very few incubators which are focusing on agriculture biotechnology. So, in Hyderabad, there is one such unique incubator which is in collaboration. The idea now, National Academy for Agriculture Research and in particular, this is in a collaboration with AgriBank, other independent agriculture university. Is very unique in the sense that the incubator focuses mainly on promoting agriculture biotechnologies and want to set up their own entities or encourage to in this incubator, which is under the umbrella of one of the premier IPR institutions, has all the required expertise in terms of providing, let's say, legal support, financial support, marketing linkages, technology access, etc. Whereas BIRAC Foundation has a vast experience in setting up agricultural biotechnology research management institutes or enterprises. So it is in this connection that the Bio Incubator at Naarm and BIRAC Foundation assume a great significance for entrepreneurs who would like to get into areas like biofertilizers, biopesticides, tissue culture, and molecular biology, etc. This incubator was started in 2017, and during the last 4 years, it has set up more than 12 incubatees, who are now graduated and they are on their own business. At this incubator, we provide support in terms of access to infrastructure, particularly wet lab, and also access to, let's say, high-ended instruments such as PCR and real-time PCR, fermenters, ultracentrifuge, HPLC, fluorescent microscope, and then cell documentation, etc. We also provide the space and wet lab facilities to those entrepreneurs who come to try out their ideas. We also have facilities for shade net house, transit glass house, etc. In fact, this incubator has two campuses, one at Anandpur and one in Hyderabad, Rajendra Nagar. As a matter of fact, since the topic is on, let's say, identifying the right kind of incubator, I suggest that those prospective entrepreneurs should look for incubators which provide the kind of support that they are looking for. And there are two ways of choosing an incubator. The first criteria is, first of all, the incubator should make a choice whether they would like to have a virtual incubation or a physical incubation. In both the cases, they should look for an institute which has a reputation, great reputation, and also has very good infrastructural facilities. And those who would like to incubate physically on their campuses, they should also look for the distance from where they are working. So the choice of distance is another criteria. They should also look at the competence of the faculty or the technical guidance that they would receive. There should be always a matching between the requirement of an incubator and the competence of the institute. So the other criteria is also that whether the incubator would provide the required kind of space and whether they have the required kind of instrument. I think this is very, very important for selecting the right kind of incubator. In addition to that, it's also important to see whether the incubator has the ability to meet the fees requirement of incubator, because nowadays each incubator, is charging certain amount of fees for during the incubation period. So the incubator should also consider this particular aspect. So likewise, the incubator should go by a set of criteria and then choose the right kind of incubator. As I said, if it is agriculture biotechnology, and if it is in this region, in fact, AIDA now has an advantage of having access to technologies developed all over ICAR institutions throughout the country. So in that way, the incubator will have the advantage of accessing these technologies. Whereas Agri-Biotech Foundation, which has been working for more than 30 years in the field of agriculture biotechnology, is a competent agency to facilitate the experimentation of the novel ideas in the fields that I mentioned. As I said, there are four important sectors like biofertilizers, biopesticides, tissue culture, and molecular biology, both genetic engineering as well as market-aided breeding. So in all these areas, we can provide the required kind of support. As I said, government of India is paying a great emphasis on promoting these enterprises. As of now in the country, there are more than 750 startups in biotechnology sector, and very soon this number is going to increase exponentially because the government policy is to set up at least 2,000 startups by end of 2020. We have already crossed that, and from this year onwards, I think the support to the bio entrepreneurs will be much higher to catch up the target that the government of India has fixed. So in that way, the ecosystem is very friendly and very congenial for the new entrepreneurs to start the bio enterprises. I think with this brief background, I would stop here. And if there are any questions, I would try to elaborate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing valuable information. Now I would like to invite my colleague, Dr. Gaurav, to brief about BIRAC BIG application process. Start.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the respected speakers for their wonderful speech. And I would like to thank my colleague, Ms. Akhila, for the brief introduction. So today I'll be speaking mostly about this BIRAC BIG, since BIRAC BIG call is already open and a lot of people are having a lot of questions. So the intent of this section of speech is to help all the applicants to understand the basic things. So I will just share my screen.
Bluetooth mode.
So I'll speak about BIRAC now. I hope my screen is visible to everybody. Okay. So just to give a brief introduction, BIRAC BIG has 8 partners, and we are one of them, as you can see in red color here. And this call, 19th call, is open for all the applications. So I'll speak about the focus areas and everything step by step. So let us proceed. So some basic guidelines first I'll go through. That is biotechnology ignition grant. In this you can claim around 50 lakh rupees, not more than that. So you have to design your project in such a way that it is in purview of that amount only. And the timeline maximum period is 18 months. Ideally, it is good if you can complete it in 12 months, but up to 18 months you can extend it. Beyond that, there is no scope. And coming to the purpose of the scheme. So BIG supports individual entrepreneurs, startups from ideation to proof of concept. So as you see, this is basically this funding is for startups who are at either at the ideation stage or POC stage. So all the users, even if the company is not registered or registered, they can apply. I got a lot of queries saying that we are like not registered. Are we eligible to apply? So yes, you are eligible to apply as an individual. So the basic intent of this program is translation of ideas into commercially viable products. So I'll repeat again, commercially viable products. Like most of the people think that they can do some research and then get it. So this grant is not for research. This is only for certain projects which are having commercialization potential, or they can be replicated into some sort of business. So, and also the one more mandate is to support biotech community of our country, because that is going to be the backbone of our country very soon. Now, the focus areas. So we, A-Idea, as an incubator, we have certain focus areas, but they are not limited to this thing, but these are the main focus areas. So anything coming under agriculture or biotechnology, or agricultural biotechnology, I would say, is our mandate. So you can apply through that. This part we will see in brief. If you can see that who are eligible actually. One second. Yeah. So types of projects supported. Actually, across all these 8 partners, there are different themes. Most of the partners are taking care of all the themes, but we, as you see highlighted in red color, agriculture, industrial biotechnology, including secondary agriculture, bioinformatics and facilities, waste management, we are taking care of mostly of these thematic areas. But again, it's like a question of like we cannot say specifically. For example, if drugs, if you are making something for animals, then it comes under our purview again. So depending on your project specifically, the things are designed. Now coming to who are eligible. So startups means anybody who is having, who registered their company within 5 years range, they can apply for this scheme. Researchers like who are having some like innovative research product and they want to commercialize to a place where they can make it a business, profitable business, those researchers can apply. Students also are motivated to apply. And individuals, by individuals we mean the people who want to like pursue entrepreneurship but they're not having any registration of the company, they also can apply. And they should have the idea, or it should be at POC stage. Now, what is not supported? As I told earlier, the basic exploratory research projects which are not having any commercial value as of now are not supported in this project. And the projects which are having low element of novelty, by that we mean if some project is there but it is too common to be funded, then they won't consider this, because that is too easy or to be replicated. So it is mandatory that your project should have some element of novelty to that, so that it could be considered for funding. And projects involving systematic clinical trials, that is again going to be in medical department, so we'll not cover this part. Now, who can apply? The individual should be the citizen of India, and the main means the person who is applying, the PI, should hold should be an Indian citizen and should be like a 51% shareholding in that company, wherever the project he is applying for. And the primary applicant who is applying should be the project leader, because many times people ask this question whether I am not the I am submitting the proposal, but someone else will speak on my behalf. So generally, BIRAC doesn't recommend such type of projects. So whoever is applying should be considered as PI, and he should be able to take care of project. So before submitting your proposal, you should ensure that whoever is submitting the proposal, whoever names you are submitting, should be the PI, and they should be able to take the project from point A to point B, and they will be responsible for complete execution of the project. And at the time of application, the applicant is expected to have identified preferred incubator. Yeah, so as a BIG partner, there are 8 partners. As per your choice and convenience, you have to choose the BIG partner and take an LOI from them, that is letter of intent. That also will cover further in detail. And these basic things, like if the applicant is employed and all, so they have to take NOC and all. I think most of you must have read the guidelines, so I'll skip that part. So again, this is again like if applicant is formally applied for LLP, so they have to take an undertaking. Then selection process, like most of the people were interested in the selection process. And why I'm emphasizing on this point is because many of you were sending us the pitch decks. So to answer to that question is like, first of all, when you submit the application, I mean, as in the whole application, first is your eligibility check. Herein, based on your application, it is screened whether you are eligible or not, whether your project meets the suitable mandate of BIG, like whether it has technically sound information or not, whether it has business potential or not. Then step 2 goes to preliminary selection committee, PSC, and online review, step 3. So in these two stages, your application is based not on your pitch deck, but based on the application which you had entered, like proposal summary and other things that I'll cover further very shortly. So you have to ensure that the first line of the selection process, that is PSC and online review, you should make a very sound application. As we have faced also, most of the applicants are putting more emphasis on the pitch deck rather than on the application. So we'll discuss why it is more important. As you see, that first selection round is based on your application only. So you have to ensure that it is very well drafted. And step 4 will be the TEP, where you have to present your pitch deck in front of the expert committee. And after that will be scoring cutoff and ESC, that is expert selection committee. So if you cross this level, you will have this grant of 50 lakh rupees. That process will follow later. That will cover later on actually. So this is a simple diagram of how it works. Now coming to how to apply for big application. So coming to this part, actually we had sent emails to all the applicants. I guess whoever is joining, they must have received an email from us. And in that email, there must be two links. One will be like click here for LOI. Second will be click here for BIRAC big application. So most of the people, what we found is like they are clicking on this LOI and they think the form is complete. So we want to tell you that this is the main form. This will take you to BIRAC portal. There you have to start registration, which we are going to talk about in our next slide. LOI is for it's just a Google form created by us to take the information like your PI details and your title of project, so that idea can issue the LOI to you. So the main part is you have to apply to BIRAC Big. So you have to click this link, BIRAC Big. This will take you to this page, as in like BIRAC Big 14 call, sorry, 19 call. So in here you see there is a portal called login and register. It must be blinking if you can see. You have to click here. This is the second step. Once you click that link, once you click this link, apply for BIRAC, you will be taken to this part. Click here to login and register. Once you click here, you will be redirected to login or sign as a new user or login. So if you are doing it for the first time, you have to create a user. So you click here at this part, click here to register. Once you click this part, you will be taken to this part. So there are two options. Click here to register for, that's a different program. Second point is for us, click here to register for big scheme. So you have to check this point. Once you click this, you will be taken to this page. Click next button. There are two instructions: apply as an individual or apply as a company. So if your company is registered and you have the PAN details and the registration certificate and everything, you should proceed with as a company. But if you don't have a company registration or if you don't have other information, then you have to apply as an individual. But a person having a company already cannot apply as an individual, so you have to take care of that point. Then in registration, you have to choose whether you are an individual or a company. So if you are an individual, things are different. If you are a company, things are different. If you are a company, you have to register your details on the MCA portal also. Once it is approved from there, within 24 hours time, the username will be activated. Then you will be able to log in and choose your company from drop down menu, and then you can start your application. So till this point, there's no application. This is just registration process. After you complete this part, the real application starts. That also we'll cover in our few next slides. So this is like basic information. If you want to have any contact details and all, which you already all know, this is there for that. And the deadline for the application is 15 September, 5:30 p.m. So 5:30 p.m. is important because last time that we had seen, most of the people were under impression that the time is not 5:30, it is 12 o'clock, 12 a.m. in the night, but it is 5:30 p.m. Beyond that, you won't be able to submit the application. And if you are willing to submit your application and you want to take our support, so we request you to please contact us as early as possible so that we can help you to fine tune your application as a BIG partner. Now I'll move to the second stage of this presentation. that is the application form, because most of the applicants had queries in terms of this application form, how to fill, what not to fill. Though we had already sent all the details over email, but I think it's good we discuss it over here also, so that everybody can have a general look on what it is. So coming to the main part, one second, sorry.
Gaurav, I think they may not require that much detail, because once they are filling, I think they would be able to do it. So they can ask, question and answers now.
Sure, sir. Okay.
Okay. So these things, if anybody has an issue, they can contact our team.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Sir, it
Okay.
is better if he goes through this, because no other webinar has told this. So it is better, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Then please proceed, Gaurav. Yeah.
Okay, so once you log in and complete all the details, as in like either your individual or company, then you have to fill this information like applicant type, whether individual, then you have to choose individual and fill the details accordingly. And company means company. I'll not cover all the details because the general ones I'll skip. Only the main part I will cover. So incubated at presently, if you are incubated somewhere, you mentioned that information, but you LOI you have to give from the partner. There are 8 partners right now. So whoever you are applying through, you should give details. You should take LOI from that partner and give that information. Coming to title of the proposal. So this part actually we faced a lot of issues. Like most of you either are giving a very long title or a very short title. So the purpose of title is it should give the preset information in one line or say that the whole message is conveyed, that what you're trying to do, what is your business plan. So prepare your title very precisely and very critically. That reflects your whole proposal. So please be wise in choosing a title of the proposal. It should sound what you're doing. We should be able to make out with just the proposal itself. Duration and all these things are like common things, so I will skip that part. Now coming to BIG partner, most people had the question that which partner to choose. So there are 8 partners right now. Everybody is having their own strength, but AIDEA as AIDEA, we are taking only agriculture and biotechnological agricultural applications. So if you are applying to us, you have to choose AIDEA, that is highlighted in green color, Technology Business Incubator of Naarm, Hyderabad. I think in the main menu, you must be seeing Technology Business Incubator of Naarm, Hyderabad. So you have to choose this as a BIG partner. And then if you have have you applied through another BIG partner in current call, then you have to say no. Then again, this question is important. Have you applied for big in earlier rounds? So if you are an applicant from 17th call or 18th call, then it is recommended that you should put all the comments and revise your proposal and then submit it. And in here you say that big partner, reference number, status, reason, like why it was not accepted, and action taken. So you have to say that all the suggestions or comments which were made in the earlier round has been taken care in this round. That part you have to mention. So in the first round of application, that is going to be this text only. The reviewers, like online reviewers, for the first round should able to know that whatever has been given for the last time has been incorporated. Then coming down, particulars of the company. I'll skip that part because that's all a common thing. I think everybody can fill that part, no problem. Coming further down. So all these are basic information. I'll skip that because there's nothing to discuss much about it. Passport is suppose if somebody is not having a passport, they can upload Aadhaar card as well as an option. And if anybody is working as a faculty or employed somewhere, they have to take NOC. I think that part also is mentioned and we already discussed. Then another main part is, yeah. So the team members for BIG application, you should consider few points to be very critical. One is the novelty of your proposal. Second is the potential to take your idea to a stage where it is commercially viable and profitable. So BIRAC makes this point very sure that whatever idea you are proposing holds some commercial value, because this grant is purely for business sake, and if it is having the potential of scalability, there's a good chance to get selected. And coming to step 4, that is team members. Team members is the key thing, because most of the people, let's say individuals or company, you should have in your team a balance. Like there should be people to represent the technology side, there should be people to represent the business side, and mentors also. You should try to onboard some mentors who are having relevant experience in that field, from business side also and from technology side also. So that part you have to take care, because we have seen that in most of the applications the team structure is very weak. Though the proposal looks very good, but team structure is quite weak, so that becomes a negative point for rejection of application. So please ensure that your team is very strong, and it should have both the components of business also and technology also. Scientific advisors also you have to add both, like business side also and technology side also. So that part can be taken care of. And the shareholding pattern, whoever is applying should ensure that it should be the citizen of India. And if anybody is having any NRI candidates, then shareholding of should be 51% for the Indian citizen, whoever is applying, basic primary applicant. Now coming to the main part, that is the core of this application, that is proposal details. So as I already mentioned, the heart of the application for the first round is this spreadsheet only. So you have to be very crisp and clear in your proposal details, what you're writing here, because your presentation will come into picture in the TEP round, which is the round 2. So to reach to round 2, you have to clear round 1, and that is this application. So in proposal details, if I have to say, if I have to exemplify, the proposal summary should be like a abstract, where if you just read the proposal summary, your whole project should be understood in single 200 words. So please make your proposal summary very specific and very precise and very informative, because whoever is going to review your application, they will just look at your proposal summary first, and then based on this first and second paragraph, they will psychologically they will make up their mind about the quality of the application. So you have to ensure that proposal summary is very important, and it has to be written very precisely and perfectly. Coming to objectives, you define the objectives, whatever they are saying, in the same format, but you try to put the objectives in point form, bullet forms, and make objectives very clear. The objectives should be executable within the time span, that is 12 to 18 months, and within the same budget. Don't put too many objectives. There were certain applications where we had seen they had put like 5-10 objectives, which are practically not doable. Though it's good that you are motivated to do that thing, but in this proposal, the reviewer should understand that whatever you're proposing is doable in this particular grant. So that part is very important. So whatever objectives you're putting, make them precise and make sure they are doable. Then explain the novelty. So novelty, you have to say like what is your novelty, because some people define novelty as novelty in their application or other things. But novelty part, you have to clearly state what is the novelty, how you're different from others, and what new you are doing, what new you are adding. That's what, so that your proposal should be considered for the funding. Then what is the potential societal and market impact? That I think that part you can take care, no problem. Other things are general only, but other points are important. So you have to be very clear in objectives and the proposal summary. The rest of information also is important, but once you are careful in that part, I think other parts can be taken care of. Then risk factors also you have to specify individually. I will not speak much about it because it varies from project to project. It is not going to be generic. So if you have any doubts in this part, please reach to us directly. Has any preliminary work has been carried out? So people who are at ideation stage, I think for them this point may not sound logical, but who are already at POC stage. Let's say you're trying to build something So if you have some pre-work already done, that gives a positive image that your proposal sounds doable and you're already committed to that work. So if you can mention here that something already has been carried out, it's a good point. Then outcomes, again, they are variable as per the project, so I'm not speaking about that. And the future plan also, future plan commercialization. So you have to clearly state what is the future plan of commercialization. And to this also, like if you are planning too many objectives, the other objectives you can put that saying that once these objectives are fulfilled and they are into market and they're having some traction, then we'll start working on the other points, like other objectives which you wanted to mention in the objectives above. Instead of there, you please put them here down. And if you have any intellectual property or you file, that's an added advantage. Though everybody might not be having that privilege that they have the file for IP. So whoever is having, please mention the like you're submitted or whatever it is. That casts a good impression. And I think rest all is generic. So rest all the information like whatever major thing I had covered. The remaining part like what budget to allocate. So many people had that question like what budget to allocate and what manpower to allocate. Though it is given in the guidelines, but instead of that also we had many questions. So I'll just help you with that part also. So in 50 lakhs, 30% you can 30% of the cost can be considered for equipments, 30% for manpower, and remaining for consumables, and that is again a variable number. So this is again a screenshot of what all can be considered. I think that's enough for this presentation. If you have any doubt apart from that, you're always welcome to contact us and ask us for any more information. So I'll just end this presentation. Thank you. Yeah.
Sir, could you share your contact number? Thank you.
Definitely, we'll share. These are the details. We'll share your email also. So we will now proceed to question and answer round where each of you can ask the questions. I request everyone to please ask any questions if they have. And I request sir also, Shiravani sir, to please help them in the questions survey.
Yeah, Jonathan, the also available. So some people have already put some questions to him.
Hello, sir. Can I ask a question?
Yeah. You can unshare, please, Gaurav.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask a question, sir?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, sir, I'm Somnath. And congratulations for this nice presentation. So I'd like to ask that I have already applied for a patent for this work, and to commercialize it and to make it into large scale, I want to apply for BIG. So while I saw that while I was writing the application, I was revealing too much, especially from my patent. So since the patent is not granted yet, I would not like to tell all this. And since it is this a patent will be applied through my institute, so I am also in binding that nothing should happen before getting the patent. So in that scenario, how I should approach in writing my big application, wherein I don't give the many points of my patent and add to it, it's enough for the people on the other side of the panelists to understand that how good or how bad is the proposal. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Is it Mr. Somnath?
Yes, sir. Somnath, sir.
Yeah, thank you. This question, I think many have actually. See, basically one thing you should understand, the more the technology that you share with the people who are interested in funding, so the, higher the chance that you can convince them. Right here, we have a non-disclosure agreement where people who are connected with that, very few people have access to what you are writing, and they have given an NDA where in which they are not going to disclose to anybody. Okay, so this is the thing, and you can take it legally also if things goes out, but it cannot happen because they are eminent people who are available in the jury of BIRAC, and even the evaluators, they are in the top of organizations. So we can't expect that they will take some of the things and send it to public. That's one thing. And second thing, see, the more you close it and keep it with you, then the you have to invest, and chance of getting even from other investors also will be very difficult. Somehow you have to believe and then go ahead with that. Don't think that this portal which you are submitting is accessible to everybody. even we cannot directly see what you are giving, right? So it is accessible only to select people, and they have NDA, and they are not going to disclose anything.
Yes,
And the
sir,
same thing I
actually,
would like to, yeah,
yes, sir.
yes.
It is a process patent. That's why the concern is more. It hadn't been only a product patent.
No,
Then
I
like
got it. I got it. See what happens,
yes.
see, even before, some of the programs I was seeing, people are skeptical to disclose it to even investors like angel, investors or venture capitalists. See, unless you tell them what unique things you have, so it is very difficult for them also to get convinced on your technology. So you have to reveal, and you have to believe that they are not going to give. And especially this BIRAC scheme, and you see that they have very strong portal where it's all password basis, and very few people who are going to evaluate and who are going to finally go for the TEP round, that is technical evaluation process, where you are going to present. Very few people are going to be associated, that too at the top level. Okay, so they are all at the top level, and they are not going to take anything and then pass it to others. In fact, before giving to them, and they are submitting one non-disclosure agreement. And you
Yes.
see, it is happening since past 5-6 years. So far, you would have not heard anything being copied by others. It does not happen here.
So for a nutraceutical product, is it necessary to give the composition of the products?
See, there are certain area which you can say that, say particular roots or something which I'm going to use, that always you can add, provided that does not mask the technology. Okay, see,
Okay,
you
sir.
cannot say that, technology is a normal one, but I'm going to use specialized products. Then you have to give to some extent what is that specialized product. So what are the sources at least? Okay,
Okay, and
not
not
all,
the
at least few, so that yours will be unique.
not
Either that should
composition
be
also, sorry.
technology, yeah, please.
Percentage and all that, that is not required. How much
Not
percentage
required,
of
not required.
not
Percentages and
required.
all is not required.
Okay,
Well,
okay,
at least
sir.
sources you mention them, say that, that way yours is unique.
Okay, sir.
Hello.
That's then it's fine, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
So Jonathan ji, you can also add something to it.
Hello.
Sir, this is Soma Sundaram from Chennai.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are not focusing on a product, sir, but we are focusing on the supply value chain in the process.
Yes.
Will there be a possibility for us to apply for this, sir? But, or is it product is mandatory to be?
See, product or services, you can apply for anything provided. So you are not focusing on developing applications and start this one software. Okay, it should end up with some innovations in the services model, like you see vertical, horticulture or vertical gardens. They are innovative ideas. Okay, so it may be services or it may be product, but it should not be only app or software.
Correct,
Hello.
sir. For an example, sir, something like what we had in Ninja Card or Big Basket, which is not only an application, it is an innovative process supply chain, sir.
Right, innovative process. Say, for example, if you talk about Flipkart, so they got almost whatever that Amazon, eBay were having, but in India they brought some new novel concept, right? They want to give it on what is that, cash on demand type. So those are innovations which they have brought. So you have to come with some innovations, and here BIRAC give preference for those innovations that is having some technology built in. Okay, if you have some innovations which is backed up by technology, then you have a higher chance of selection.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. This is
Yes,
Swapnil
sir.
Patil from Maharashtra.
Yeah.
I have a question. Three questions I have. First question is, if I have selected for under RQR Raftar scheme of Ministry of Agriculture for 25 lakhs of grant in aid, am I eligible for this big grant? And my second question is, what is the timeline to receive the big grant? And that's it.
Yeah. So first question is, you can apply for any number of schemes, project, funding agencies, provided the idea which you are submitting are different. You cannot submit the same idea for funding again to any agency. That's unethical also, right? And not legal. Okay, not for the same idea.
Okay, because I have a startup in which I have 3 products, and I have
Yeah, that's
selected
right.
for
If it is different, then you can apply. You are
yes,
eligible.
yeah,
Okay, and provided you have not got BIRAC before, BIRAC big.
no.
Yeah, right.
One sub question on that, sir. One sub question on that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, some of the platform that we develop, though we get incubated by another company or Riftar program, the amount is not enough. So we are looking for more funding like this opportunity, sir.
See,
If
that
that
you
is the
have
case,
already given some idea, and once the incubation process is over, further whatever you want to develop over and above what you have done in RKVY, that you can present it again here.
okay, sir, got it.
Yeah, over and above what you have done there.
Okay,
So,
great.
an additional features you want to develop, you can always rope in for other funds.
Okay, sir.
Mr. Sivaraman, may I ask a question to you?
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, see, I think you can switch on your camera because I'm not knowing who is asking the question now. Yeah.
My name is Vijapuri.
Hi, my name is Harish, sir.
Hello. Harish,
Yeah.
you can wait for a minute. I am asking a question. Otherwise, it will contradict each other.
Yeah.
Mr. Sivaraman, I am seeing that there is a lot of problem with the tomato handling today in India.
Yeah.
And sometimes the glut situation is leading to distress. There are various processing technologies like aseptic technology, freezing, and then microwave or various. Which one is more suitable at the farm level, and then how it can be commercialized has not been presented in a very optimum way, so to say. And at farm level, like the milk collection center or something, that mechanism needs to be placed in the system. We are trying to understand what would be the most cost-effective mechanism for developing this product. Product is there, but the innovation will be in making it cost-effective and easy to handle by the farmers or the producer himself. That may be even FPO, for example. So can we make this as a concept to start with, and it will go up to a pilot stage, and then we come back to BIRAC again for commercialization of it. The details of commercialization will be provided to you in this form only, but commercialization will be in the second stage. Can you guide me, please?
Yeah, thank you for this question. And it's very important to know that BIRAC is giving for conversion of idea to the a product.
Yes.
Okay, product or services. So it is not for commercialization per se.
Yes.
Okay, they are going to they are willing to support ideas which has commercial value.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, but they are not giving funds for the existing product to get commercialized.
Okay.
Okay, so now you have a clear problem statement. For that, you have to come out with alternative solutions, and then find out the solutions which is very, very promising through literature.
Exactly.
So identify through literature that is backed by scientific experiments.
Yes.
And then quote the paper and all those things, research papers, and then say that this is the product which you want to develop. And technically, what are the steps that is involved, how you are planning to build the product. So with that, things, you have to submit for BIRAC big. How you are going to develop that product. So from the idea, and you give the blueprint of how you are going to develop. Okay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Is it okay? We lost it.
Good afternoon, sir.
Just sorry to interrupt you, just one update. We have with us our other speaker, Dr. Paki Reddy sir, also with us. So if any question is there for him, you can ask him always.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Sir, earlier we thought that this is mostly a biotech related grant when we take the a letter of intent from you. So, but it is getting diversified. So, should we need to choose?
It is not diversified. You see the areas which they are supporting. It is not pure biotechnology. It is on agri-tech. Okay, so different types of agri-techs they support, not pure biotechnology.
But again, applying for A idea and big grant, it is separately dealt to, right?
Can you come again?
Yeah, applying for A idea and as
Yeah.
well as a big grant, and if at all we are applying for some other state sponsored grant, such as, for example, Maharashtra startup or Karnataka startup, that is also considered in a different thing, or are we eligible to apply for all these under the same umbrella?
See, there are, you mean partners? See, there are 8 partners in which idea is one, and you can associate with any one of these partners.
I think Dr. Shivaram, if I may, I think he's asking whether this application is, if he applies for one, does it go for all the others programs? It's not like that, Mr. Ananda. So AIDS application is one. This particular call is for BIG 19. That's a BIG call. It goes into that.
Yeah, it is directly in their portal. So it goes to be a BIRAC big portal directly.
No, sir, my question is, for example, if I'm applying for a Maharashtra startup and Karnataka startup, and also for a big idea and A idea, big grant and A idea, if I get at least 2, so am I, should I skip something, or how it has to be, it will be seen, number 1.
See, now
number
you
2,
have ideas. Yeah, I got your point. See, you can apply it for any number of, grants or, investors. Okay. So, but the thing is that once you get selected, so then you have to freeze it. You are not supposed to get funds for the same idea elsewhere.
Okay, got it, sir.
Yeah.
But if it is a different idea or extended part of that idea, we can, right?
Yes, you can go ahead. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you. You clarified it.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Sir, I'm from agriculture, sir. I'm pursuing 3rd year.
Yeah, good. Yes.
I'm pursuing 3rd year, sir. My idea is diagnostics of milk, sir. Checking the quality of the milk. This is my idea. This what is this field comes under which topic, sir?
See, what I suggest is there are some specific supporting schemes, like we have in Sparsh Fellowship by BIRAC, and you have some in RKVV also, where students are supported. So what I suggest you is that 1 year you can get support, some sort of fellowship, like develop your ideas, bring it in a better way, and you apply for BIRAC, all those things, so that the chance of selections will be high. So now you need to have a good team, right? All this type of support you will get it, from that fellowships. There are several.
What are the fellowship you told, sir?
Yeah, students are supported. One, you see in BIRAC, you can just open Sparsh SPAR. You can see that in RKVY also we have. Okay, so go for RKVY Raftar schemes. Okay, where in which there are some startup incubators where you get fellowships for supporting. In addition to that, see, like AID and other places, we are giving options to work here for 3 months as interns. So you can get associated one way or other with the incubator, learn the things, learn the art of presentation, try to make the ideas, more commercially viable, and then increase the probability of selection. Then you can go ahead. I think that being 3rd year student, and you need to have a good team also. Those things you have to develop. Still, you have time. That's right. In 3rd year, you have final year, and then by the time you leave out your college, you will be in a position to make out a choice. Where to go for, pitching your ideas.
Sir, I have an idea, sir. I have tried to design the model, and my model is going to complete, sir. My doubt is I need some guide or guidance who to where to check this and like that, sir.
You are from which college?
Vellore Institute of Technology, VIT.
So VIT has an incubator. Just 2 days back, I was delivering a talk there. So they have an incubation center. Why don't you approach your incubation center? So get the idea there, how to, fine tune the ideas. And then again, you can have your team. So team who has different strengths. If you are into some product development or software development, try to make some, beginning, and then, because what I see in a big funding and all, they see strong things, full commitment. And, BIRAC requires you to be working on it for 24 hours. So students cannot as such, participate unless you are fully involved in this process. Even faculty students can apply, but 24 hours, I mean, full-time duty they have to do for this process.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Just a minute. I want Dr. Jonathan to share some thoughts on it. Jonathan Philroy?
Yes, sir.
So
I
can
mean,
you just suggest the students how to take it up?
Oh yeah, I concur with what you just said. That being third year and getting into BIG would mean too much of workload. So take the time to understand how the startup world operates, how an enterprise has to be run. Work with the other startups as an intern. 2 to 3 months is a perfectly good time. Incubators have such opportunity because startups are also looking for internship or internship.
What about ICRISAT? Are you giving some support for students?
We have internship opportunities with the startups. So if you're looking for say 2 months of your time, we do have that based on the startups requirement. And these could be basically working with farmers in terms of scaling up ideas and things like that. Or you could look for Sparsh and the entrepreneurship in EIR scheme, the resident scheme, where you get actually paid for doing the fellowship activity. That's another opportunity that Harish, you can look at it. But if you're looking for in startups, they don't have too much money to pay. So if you're looking at a paid kind of internship, think about such fellowship programs. But if you're interested in actually pursuing an entrepreneurship as an opportunity, as a vocation, take the time to actually meet other startups, work with them, maybe volunteer some time on a weekend, see how they work, and then you can pick it up from there. But putting a BIG application right now in your third year would mean too much of workload. Your fourth year is more important. You need to finish that, and BIG will not allow anyway. So that's another. Yeah, but a lot of opportunity with internship with incubators exist. So reach out to VIT itself. You will be able to connect with Bala sir, and then reach out.
Sir, do I get some internships like that for me, sir, for my guidance like that?
Internship for guidance, as in you are looking. So you mentioned about dairy sector. Now the milk testing itself, there are various startups which have actually worked on. Delphos is one that AIDA itself supported, and there are other technologies which have been developed by ICR institutions, by DFRL, etc., which are already there. Now you could use the time to do background research on how your business model or your product, how does it differ from the ones that are already there in the market. Because when you say, suppose you are in you graduated and you're moving forward, and you say that, okay, I'm going to apply for BIG. When the reviewers start looking at it, they would say that the technology already exists. So we'll have to identify what is different in your process that you are bringing to the table, why you need to be funded for taking it to the proof of concept and then developing the prototype, etc. So you could do that during the internship as well. Yes, we could provide an internship where you could come and say that, okay, we're looking for dairy sector partnerships. There could be startups which are working in the dairy sector. You could intern with them as well.
Yeah, right. Okay. Is it actually we are connecting students with the startups also for internship. So you can see the link in EIDA website and you can apply for internship. Yeah.
Yeah, Jonathan, sir, I have another question related to my startup. So we are supposing we incorporated our company and we are two partners on the board. Now we are lacking another skill of marketing or sales. So we want to get another co-founder. So who is not legally or under the LLP this thing. So should we mention that and say that, or we need to make our documentation clear first and apply here, because there is not much of time now for another 6 days.
I didn't get it. Your company is not yet registered?
It is registered LLP. We are already two in number, two
that's
co-founders.
Fine. That's your two co-founders. The third person can come in later on. And for the application process, at this stage, there is no problem. But as you go into the processing and when you bring in people, you need to make sure that you have your agreements and documentation in line, because there will be a diligence process that comes up. Once the BIG application is done, the reviewers, the committee, all the committee work is done, then the associated incubator team will come for diligence checkup and all that. So that time we'll have to show all your documents, your team, make the interactions, etc. happen, and then they will give the feedback back to BIRAC on the fund release and approval, etc. So at that time we'll have to put it out.
Yeah, the thing is, okay, can we also borrow, take a angel investor into this now, if we want to invest on our idea?
See, these are two different things. BIG is meant for providing ideas, funding for your idea to a proof of concept stage. So it's a grant funding that is given up to 50 lakhs. What you're talking about investors is completely different. That's like the other side of the whole thing. If an investor says, I'm willing to give you this money to test and proper investment that is coming up, then we are talking a different thing altogether. Then you have to start talking about your valuations and your other things. Let's not mix these things together. This is primarily a grant fund
Sure.
for your venture
Until
or an idea.
TRL3, right?
Yeah. They have the prescribed levels that are already there. So once BIG is completed at 50 lakhs is given as a grant for 18 months. Once you complete that, you have the option, and BIRAC gives you the option of applying for SIBRI, which is the bigger next level of funding, which goes up to 1 crore and beyond. So it's a progressive level that BIRAC itself has created, but it depends on where you are and what stage the outcome is after 18 months, whether everything has been fulfilled and all that. So don't mix the investor cycle with this grant funding. This is primarily limited to a particular idea which you can fulfill within 18 months. The testing and proof of concept, etc. But within 18 months, it has to be proven that can be done. So that
Sure,
should be
certain.
clear.
So now we can only mention two co-founders when we get the grant. Probably then we have to
at that time, yeah, I mean,
revive the agreement.
Yeah, you are expanding your team, etc. But you have to make sure that it complies with the existing guidelines which are already prescribed, which Dr. Gaurang had already shown what are the criteria which are there. So we had one founder who actually is born in India, but then he is now taken a British citizenship. So he can't apply. Even if he wants to apply, he can't apply because his co-founder has 49% of the share, but he's in India, but then he can't apply because he's a lead promoter. So make sure that those things you comply with the guidelines at that time.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Hello. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Yes, Uttamji.
Yes, sir. So I was trying to register my company in BIG, but it was not able because it is showing that one already the organization has been registered in BIG. Last time in the month of March, I was registering, but I couldn't finish that. Because of that, I'm now again registering, but it is not being accessed. So
don't worry, Uttamji, you take it up with our team. They have shared the number, right? So
yes,
directly
sir.
call them, they will take care of that.
Yes, sir. Sir, another point is my idea was aided 5 lakhs from ICAR and NRI Kotak. I am in the position of now MVP, minimum value added product now, and I have not launched into the market due to this lockdown of COVID-19. So I want to apply now in BIG. Can I be eligible for that, sir?
No, this is not meant for where you have MVP or prototype. This is basically from a proof of concept to MVP.
MVP, sir.
Yeah, so you have already reached that target of BIRAC, the TRL level. So this is not meant for that. So now you are in the scale up stage.
No, sir, because last time due to this COVID-19, I was
I got it. But this fund is not meant for that. This fund is meant to convert the ideas to the prototype.
Prototype. Okay, sir. Okay,
Yeah.
sir. And
So
I have
you already have prototype, right?
Yeah, prototype. But another idea I have.
Yeah, see that those things you can apply for accelerator. They will help you. Wherein which they help you for scaling up.
Okay, sir. And I have another idea in nutrition. So I can apply for that, sir?
Yes. Another new idea you can apply for BIRAC. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Where you have POC. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So I'm not able to access that. I have written 3 mails to the team.
That's fine. You talk to our team directly. They shared the mobile number, right?
Sure.
Again, I will ask my team to put it in chat so that you can copy and you can take it up with them.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, can you tell the exact TRL at which the idea should be present while applying for BIG, and possibly which TRL it should reach at the end of 18 months?
See, up to TRL 3, see 1, 2, 3 can apply.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And,
Okay, sir.
see, it is supposed to reach TRL 7.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So, yeah, that's what the target of the scheme is.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Syed ji, you want to ask anything? Yeah. So, Akila, can you take up some questions which is in the chat?
Okay, sir.
I want to have your contact number because my network got disconnected.
Okay. Right.
So
Gaurav, you can share the team details in chat.
Is it that Gaurav Gupta can be contacted?
Yeah, Dr. Gaurav Gupta and Monia.
So nice. Thank you.
So he'll be sharing the details now in chat. Okay.
Okay,
You
sir.
can copy it.
So nice. Thank you.
Shall I start, sir?
Yeah. See, someone has asked how many startups will be selected for big grant. See, normally it is 300, and last time about 45 were selected for in agriculture domain. And this year it is expected to go a little up, maybe around 60. So that's the target for agriculture. And the timeline is normally 3 months maximum. So till before that, you will get the result. Yeah. But that's about selection process. Yeah. Any other questions? Passport. Yeah. Passport. Somebody asked for passport. So if you don't have passport also, you can apply.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. This is Vinay from Vizron Private Limited. Sir, I want to know, sir, we are on the ideation stage, and right now, from one of the company we have collaborated, they have provided us pre-order for our, on our ideation stage only. So now we have to be quick for manufacturing part for our agricultural drone. So are we eligible for it? And we have the whole project report for this also.
See, you are technically, the moment you are talking about manufacturing, all these things, you are not in the ideation stage. You are in scaling up stage.
No, sir. Manufacturing, not the whole mass production thing. The ideation we have to design it and to frame it on that level we have, sir.
Now, what is the innovation that you want to bring? So drones are available. So of course, don't give everything in this platform. So you can talk to us in person what the innovation that you are going to bring related to drone. Okay, if it is idea phase, definitely you can apply for BIRAC.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sir, what would be suitable time for connecting, sir, with the?
See, you can talk to our team anytime from 10 to evening 5:30.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, related to sericulture, whom to check that one? This is my idea. That's an idea phase only.
Yeah.
So I need mentor and scientific monitor.
Yeah. So you can contact us. There are some sericulture colleges that is available. So based on your idea, we will try to connect to the best person in that.
Okay. So
okay.
Can I have that person name and contact
So first
details?
you call us, you tell us what's the new thing that you are bringing in sericulture. That's very important.
Okay.
Okay. So,
hello.
Yeah, in sericulture we have disease management, we have production system, we have post harvest, several things are there. Depending upon what you are presenting. So we will suggest you the mentor.
Fine. I'll get in after this call. I'll get in touch with you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. I have one more question.
Yeah.
In budget justification.
Yeah.
So, sir, yeah, there are four sections mentioned in budget justification for your machineries, recurring heads, and
We
other
lost your
financials.
voice.
Hello.
Yeah, we lost your voice in between.
Hello.
Yeah, now audible. Yes.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
So I have a question in budget justification. Now I have a startup of manufacturing and marketing of farm implements. For that, I have the proof of concept is ready. So I need funds for means I have collaborated with CSIR government organization and I
See,
have to
if
pay
you are
them fees
going for, yeah, I got your question. You have put it in chat also. See, if you are going for outright, licensing of technology and commercializing,
No outsource technology.
Yeah.
I am taking outsource service for design and development from
Okay.
research institute.
Yeah.
So
See,
in which
that's
section
fine.
should I
See,
mention
here,
this?
this fund is for incubator and the team. Okay. So
Okay.
why don't you add the person who is doing that, who is supporting you as part of the team? Because technical expertise in the team is a must actually.
Okay.
Okay. So if
We
you
have
feel that
actually,
you cannot justify technically, then you need to have the person in your team who has the technical knowledge about that product.
actually they have we have mentioned their names in the scientific advisors, but we
Yeah.
need to pay them fees.
Yeah, I got it. But that's fine. So in your team also, as a part of the founder also, you need to have somebody who is technically sound in that area.
Yes, in team members we have, but still we need
Yeah,
some external
yeah,
design.
that you can always mention. And it is also good to mention some mentors and advisors. Okay, that is always good. Yes, you can have that. In your presentation also, you can show that, who are all people who are associated with you as mentors and advisors. That adds value when you are making the presentations.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
And sir, suppose if I don't mention any budget for machineries to purchase, and if I mention all the budget for to develop the prototype and technical services, is it okay to okay with this big grand guidelines?
See, it is a grant in which they have given you a lot of freedom related to budget. Okay, see, that's what initially you said 30% for manpower and 30% for machineries like that. But within that, how you are allocating is up to you. Okay, and this is a broad thing. You cannot make 100% as manpower or 100% for development of equipments.
Okay.
Okay, so that sub details also you should go for the limits. You are to adhere to the limits.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So I think it's getting late, and thank you very much for everyone for joining today's shows. My special thanks to Mr. Jonathan and Dr. Pakki Reddy for in fact adding a lot of value to this program by sharing their details. And my heartfelt thanks to them for being collaborating with the area, and wish all the incubators that they will be successful in their attempts. All the best, and for any queries related to BIRAC, you can contact our team. So I'd like to place my sincere thanks to all my team members and all the people who have joined for this show. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure
Thank you,
meeting
Jonathan.
you.
Yeah, thank you. And come here sometimes to your
Sure,
area.
sir, sure.
We'll meet.
Look forward to meeting you and the team.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye. Have a nice evening. Bye.